Shalom, Inshallah. I'm going to start off as always by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. It's a quick one, inspired by this video here. GMS, Fear the Most High 7 space bar, right? Bar meaning 2 in the Lashawan Kodash, right? It's regarding your employer threatening your job, US update. Right, and basically I just left a note there, but one thing I saw, right, if you notice it, you see it's two comments here, but it basically says you don't actually see the one that I posted, right, which shows you exactly how these algorithms are working, right? The algorithm said nope, gotta what do you call it, gotta block this one. Okay, so where am I? Okay, so cool. This is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna open up that link now, right? It says federal law prohibits employers and others from requiring with a thing distributed under an EUA. Now this is an important thing you got to understand with he's very particular with his language, right? For instance, when you read something that I'm into a lot, statistics, there are certain statistical words that are used that have a specific meaning, which when used in the general public have a specific meaning. Okay, it's what you would call domain language, or in layman's term, jargon, right? So it says ever since the FDA granted EUA for two new things, employers, schools, and other organizations are grappling with whether to require them. While organizations are certainly free to encourage their employers, students, and other members to be thingied, right? Federal law prohibits that at least until it is licensed. Individuals must have the option to accept or decline. Now, this is in America, right? This is EUA, emergency use authorization, which is very different to an approval. So we go to the FDA.gov, EUAs for those things explained. The FDA is globally respected for its scientific standards for safety, effectiveness, and quality. Which that's a joke. Same people that say Monsanto is good and GMOs are good. Right, the agency provides scientific and regulatory advice to developers and undertakes a rigorous evaluation of the scientific information through all the phases of clinical trials, which you call it whether it's been approved or authorized, right? Says what is an EUA, right? An EUA is a mechanism to facilitate the availability and use of medical countermeasures, including that during public health emergencies such as the current thing. Right, so it says under an EUA, the FDA may allow the use of unapproved medical products, right, or unapproved uses of approved medical products. So basically, either it's something that's unapproved or something that's approved for a different thing, but not to treat this particular thing, right? Basically, using something in a way it wasn't intended to, right? So to prevent, to diagnose, treat, or prevent serious or life-threatening diseases or conditions when certain statutory criteria have been met, including that there are no adequate, approved, and available alternatives, right? Taking into consideration input from the FDA, manufacturers decide whether and when to submit an EUA request, right? And then they're gonna say that, but this is the thing, because when you read the news and this, that, and the other, right, you will see, oh, it's been improved, it's been improved, it's been improved, especially here in the UK, right? I don't know how much more so in the States, but these are authorizations, not approvals, right? So for anyone to tell you that it is approved, it is a downright lie. Okay, so federal law prohibits, this is from statnews.com. It says 23rd of February, so like 3 weeks ago or so. Uh, right, so knowing what an organization can or cannot do with respect to that can help them keep their employees, students, and members safe, and also save them from the costly and time-consuming legislation. Even though the FDA granted EUA for the thingies in December, the clinical trials the FDA will rely upon ultimately decide whether to license these things are still underway and are designed to last for 2 years. For 2 years. But these guys are going to tell you it's all safe. They're going to tell you it's all safe. It's all good. It's been tested. It's been tested. It's been tested. Right? That's what they're going to tell you. But it says the actual thing, time to approval is 2 years. Then look, man, look, censors. I'm literally just reading an article. This is exactly uh, 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 what do you call it? So it says, given the uncertainty about the two things, their EUAs are explicit that each is an investigational thing, not licensed for any indication, and require that all promotional material relating to it clearly and conspicuously state that this product has not been approved or licensed by the FDA, but has been authorized for emergency use by FDA. Emphasis added. This sort of thing that gets you annoyed. Okay, because at the end of the day, once again, this is this whole thing about uh, 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 so EUAs are clear. Getting these things is voluntary. The same section of the Federal Food, Domestic and Cosmetic Act that authorized the FDA to grant EUAs also require the Secretary of Health and Human Services to ensure that individuals to whom the product is administered are informed of the option to accept or refuse. Okay, it's in the same vein when Dr. Amanda Cohn, the executive secretary of the CDC Advisory Committee on Practices, was asked, can be required, she responded that under an EUA, they're not allowed to be mandatory. So early in this phase, individuals will have to be consented and they won't be able to be mandatory. Okay, so like I said, this is just going back off, land backing off this video that the brother, elder brother made here, for you brothers over there in the States. And it is true. This is one of them things we gotta be clued up, because we know this is, when we're doing these videos, we're not saying that these things will never be mandated. No, that will be contrary to the scriptures. Okay, but we're just saying as things stand, right? We got to be wise to the game, right? This is very much a compliance test. Personally, I look at it as a compliance test. EU knows, okay, who's down for the courts, who are we gonna have issues with, okay? But as things stand, his brother says in the video, I think it was in the first one on this one, for just the UK version. If you don't have to lose your job, you don't have to lose your job, right? Because and it is made a good point. These devils play on your ignorance. Okay, for instance, I work with a guy. He gets parking tickets. He doesn't pay them parking tickets because he knows how to get around paying them parking tickets. Right, Jake now, because Jake doesn't know the law, Jake doesn't know how to maneuver, Jake will get a fine and will pay that fine, not knowing that there are actually ways to get around paying a whole load of fines. Okay, this devil plays on your ignorance. Right, this is Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So I was, was one of the precepts that was quoted in the brother's video, and this is it. We got to roll in wisdom. Okay, we're not saying that these things aren't ever gonna be mandated. That's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying move with wisdom, right? Know that you can say no, right? Know that you can tell your people that you're around that you don't have to take that. If you don't feel like taking it, you can say no. Okay. So just to read that headline again, federal law prohibits employers and others from requiring with that distributed under an EUA, right? So, for instance, that New York worker that lost her job, that was probably a psyops. Now I'm thinking that even as I'm saying this thing, that was probably a psyop, because that means other people will have seen that and been like, oh, I need to take it then. When actually, guess what? It's not even a requirement under federal law, right? Not state law, federal law. Okay, so so yeah, as always, laws will does edify. Until next time, I'll say shalom.